let us take into two account, two people here, because supplier and the recipient. Now here, let us say supplier of goods. Let us say Mr. Mrs. Niryat Limited. Niryat Limited is registered person and supplier of the goods. Now this gentleman supplied goods for rupees 1 lakh, for example, and the GST, let us say IGST 18%, 18 to whom? To Mrs. Ayat Limited, also a registered person. They are the recipient, as whoever of the recipient. So supplier is there, recipient is there. In the month of when they supplied, here invoice dated, let us say 30th January 2024, invoice date. So tax invoice received. This fellow being a recipient want to avail input tax credit. So ITC allowed based on the conditions. 1. Receipt of invoice, namely tax invoice. 2. Receipt of goods. This fellow GST 1, nothing but what? Output tax. Output GST 1. Submitted by when? By 11th of February 2024. In that case, in the given case here, since he is submitted the GST 1 return, which is directly linked here, auto populated, GSTR 2B, auto populated GSTR 2B. In that there are two parts, part 1 and part 2, second part. Where it is part 1, how much it is? 18,000 IGST is allowed as input assessment. Part 1 means fully allowed. Part 2, for example, here nil. Part 2 nil. Now here, this particular, what we can call here, this is what? Section 16(2) AA, it refers. Here, section 16(2) BA refers. It is section 16(2) A. This one 16(2) B. Section 16(2) A, AA, B, BA. Actually, where we are here only. 16(2) A, 2 AA, 2B, 2 BA. Now coming to section 16, subsection 2, class C. Tax actually paid to government. Tax actually paid to government. By whom? By supplier. By supplier. Sir, in our given example, supplier GST 1 return filed, sir, by 11th of February. Subsequently, the first step is the first step. Second step, that fellow has to file the GSTR 3B return by payment. So, GSTR 3B. 3B liability is how much? For example, he has only this liability, nothing else. GSTR 3B when filing, due date is what? Is 20th February 2024. While filing the GSTR 3B, he should show the liability. What liability should show? What liability shown in the GST 1 return should be shown. Suppose GST 3B return, he said nil liability, but GST 1 return is liability 18,000. That means GST 1 return liability is more than GST 3B return. If so, the recipient IAT Limited cannot avail the input tax credit. Therefore, GST 3B should be submit means payment to department. Payment to department. For example, this particular Niryat Limited supplier not having any input tax credit, only one output tax liability. Therefore, this he has to pay by electronic cash ledger. GST 3B submitted by paying rupees 18,000 through electronic cash ledger. Through electronic cash ledger. If he paid, goodbye. Recipient, whatever kid availed only, no problem, go ahead, everything is good. If there is not paid, what consequences, which I am bringing here to a notice now. Rule number 37 capital A, it directly linked with rule number section 16 subsection 2 class C, which says that, hey Mr. Supplier of the goods services, whatever liability should pay to department. Rule number 37A says, if not paid, reversal of input tax credit in the case of non-payment of tax by the supplier and re-availment thereof. But you cannot put a gun on head to reverse the credit immediately. Ayat and Niryat wala supplied goods. The Ayat is received and avail the credit. In the given example, when supplied the goods, when receive the input tax credit. In the given case, January month supply the goods, avail the credit in the month of January by Ayat. Now assume a scenario, GST 3B, where he may be filed without payment of tax. As a whole, assume a scenario, for example, I am telling you, for example, in the given case, assume tax not paid. Then what is going to impact, in the given case? Tax not paid. Tax not paid. In the given case, what is going to impact? Tax not paid. Assume tax not paid. Then, for the Ayat fellow, the recipient cannot avail the input tax credit. He should reverse the credit. Sir, when should we reverse the credit, sir? In the month of January 24, credit availed, sir. In the month of February, GSTR 3B, when going to be submitted by Ayat Limited, he availed the input tax credit available in the GSTR 2B. GSTR 2B, how much credit is available? 18,000 part 1, credit utilized and paid the balance amount of his liability to department by Ayat. So, he availed the credit and utilized the credit, sir. Then when should we reverse the credit, sir? There is time limit is given, don't worry at all. Hey, Mr. Supplier, in the given case, Niryat Limited, why not pay the tax? When you supply the goods, you collect the tax, no? Collect the tax of rupees 18,000 in the name of the government as a GST, and that amount how can you utilize and use away? There are companies, my dear sir. Couple of days before, when I talking with my one of student who is a qualified CA, and he told me, sir, one of the client, my client, for the past 6 months, not paid the GST, sir. The Direction of Goods and Services Tax, DG GST, came for investigation. I asked, why not pay the tax? GST collected from the customers and they're supposed to pay to department before the due dates. For the past 6 months, they're not paid. Why not paid means they are running financial crunch. Resultantly, the GST what they collected and utilizing for their working capital purpose, this purpose. Oh. So, pathetic situation, why you are handling such a client? What I can do, sir? But the client is good only. Intention not to evade. It is a clear evasion of tax only. Now, when you collect the tax not to department, is a no, sir. It's not a fraud case, sir. He's shown the liability in GST 1 return. GST 1 return, whatever liability to pay, monthly is showing it. Good. It reflecting the recipient GST 2B part 1 allowed credit. But for the given month, whatever liability shown in the GST 1 return, he is not paid to department. Oh, he is doing how long? For the past 6 months he is doing it. Oh, that's why maybe department GST council recommended to have a new provision now, sequential order of filing the return. If you not file the GST 1 return for one tax period, for the same tax period you are not allowed to file the GST 3B. You file GST 3B, then only permit to file the next tax period GST 1 return. But here also our people will find the solution. Okay, what is this? GSTR 1 return we filed with a liability of 18,000. GST 3B return also filed with a nil amount of tax. Here, system will have check GST network portal. GST network portal says that your liability is there, which is reflecting GST 3B. You have to file. You have to pay the tax and file the return. But it is not possible to file having the liability in the GST 3B return. Now it is and all the provisions coming into picture. And moreover, subsequent tax period, GST 1 return cannot be filed. Because previous tax period, GST 3B not filed. But this happened the past period before these amendments with the client what has been did, that client what he did know, he collected the tax in away for the past 6 months, not paid to department. That means simple to say, supplier not paid the tax to department is a clear-cut violation of section 16 subsection 2 clause C. In that case, recipient can avail the input tax credit? No. Reverse the credit. When should reverse? Refer the rule number 37. Where? Rule number here. 37 capital A says that supplier not file the GSTR 3B, not paid the tax to department. But in the meantime, recipient avail the input tax credit. Rule number 37A says that, hey recipient, you reverse the credit. When should you reverse? Recipient, you wait till the time 30th September of the succeeding financial year, whether my what we call supplier will be filed the return or not. GST 3B return is there, Namma. What is GST 3B return? Payment of tax. In the given case, January 2024, Niryat supplied the goods January month. liability to pay, that liability to pay by 20th of February in the financial year 2023-24, correct? Because January 24 means financial year 23-24. In the financial year 2024, January month liability to pay by 20th of February 2024 by Niryatwala. Have you paid or not paid, sir? Okay, recipient, wait, let him maybe going to pay in the next month, maybe in the month of March or in the month of April. April 24 comes into picture, new financial year 24-25. In that case, no problem. Hey, recipient, Ayat, wait, that fellow may be going to be paid. Don't reverse immediately credit. Rule number 37A says that don't reverse the credit. Wait, let him going to pay the tax. He may be going to be his good man, expecting the government. So this particular Niryatwala, supplier of the goods, supplied in the month of January, but not paid by 20th February, not paid by 20th of March, not paid 20th of April, like that. In the next financial year, he not paid up to 30th September of the succeeding financial year, meaning thereby, in our given example, financial year 23-24, that liability can be paid by 30th September 2024 in the next subsequent financial year 2024-25 by 30th September 24. If you pay, very good, recipient not required to reverse the credit. Even by 30th September of the succeeding financial year, this Niryat fellow not going to pay the tax liability of rupees 18,000, then hey recipient, your supplier not paid the tax even by 30th September of the succeeding financial year. Now you reverse the credit. When to be reversed? On or before 30th November should reverse the credit. 30th September time is there. After that, October month time you take, November month also you take. By 30th November, you please pay off. Reverse the amount or pay the amount. Reverse the amount means what? If you have excess credit in your books of accounts, in the electronic credit ledger as a receivable credit, then to the extent of 18 rupees, reduce the credit. Reduction of input tax credit equal to payment of tax only. Or if there is no credit, the liability of rupees 18,000 you have to pay by electronic cash ledger. When? By 30th of November of the succeeding financial year, provided your supplier not paid the tax by 30th September of the succeeding financial year. In the given case, this is what the entire story refers. 30th September time is given. If not paid by 30th November, you have to reverse the credit. Now the recipient says, I am not going to reverse the credit because I am a honest guy. I paid the tax. I have received the goods. I have my tax invoice. I am a gentleman. Why should I reverse the credit? Because of my supplier not pay the tax. Sorry, Mr. Recipient. You only gentleman, but your corresponding person not a gentleman. You have to suffer for it. Sorry. Therefore, hey recipient, you should search good person to deal with you. That particular transactions, deal with only good persons. Next time won't buy from the supplier because it's bad buy. Recipient to deal with only good persons. Now, recipient has no voice to say, no, I am not going to reverse the credit. You cannot say. Earlier, there was a voice of the Supreme Court of India judgment in the case of KK Industries, which is now nullified because of the law got amended. Now, recipient says, no, I am not going to reverse the credit. What you will say? What you can do? The recipient of the goods says, I avail the credit only, rightly availed. I am not going to reverse. Go, do whatever you like. Here there is a provision. If recipient not reverse the credit or pay the amount of input tax credit which is availed by him, not eligible to avail, by 30th of November not paid, not reversed, in the subsequent financial year, the recipient liable to pay the tax of input tax credit to department along with the interest. What rate interest, 24% per annum, because input tax credit excess availed. Excess availment of input tax credit, therefore it is 24% per annum under section 50 subsection 3, liable to pay the GST along with the interest. Section 50 subsection 3, interest talks about what rate? 24% per annum you have to pay. Okay sir, I will pay 24% per annum sir, only when, from which date onwards sir? By 30th of November, if you not reverse the credit or paid the amount, then in that case, here the law says, on which date you have utilized that credit. I utilized the credit, that time itself, no. In the month of January, I received the goods, that time I have availed the credit, and while filing the GST 3B return, I utilized the credit by 20th of February itself. That time itself I utilized the credit. Utilize the credit when? By 20th February 2024. From 21st February onwards till the date of reversal or payment of amount to tax to department, you have to pay interest at the rate of 24% per annum. Ayyo, what is this? In the month of February, I have utilized the credit by filing the GST 3B return on 20th February. That time, full amount of credit utilized. Then, from that date, 21st of February, till the date of making the payment, I have to pay interest at the rate of 24% per annum. This is what the law here says. Failure to comply. Rule number 37 capital A by recipient. Recipient who fails to comply with the rule number 37A will be issued a GST demand notice demanding the tax payment and interest to the extent of excess input tax credit claimed. The interest is charged as per section 50 of the CGST at the rate of 24% per annum for excess input tax credit claimed and utilized from the date of such utilization until the date of payment. Now, what is the point of utilization of input tax credit? What is the point of utilization of input tax credit? A question mark. Now we have a clarification, a clear explanation, rule number 88, capital B of CGST rules, where there is a clear explanation is given. What is the utilization of credit? I will tell you. Beautiful manner explained. For example, here, February 24, that is 20th February, output tax, for example, 20,000 less input tax credit, which is 18,000, balance 2,000 is called paid by electronic cash ledger paid. Here it is called as, this amount is known as utilization of input credit. So that particular count reckoned 21st February till date of payment. So by 20th of November, if I reverse the credit, I am a good buy. If you pay the amount to department by 20th November, I am a very good buy. No interest, no penalties. I am a very good buy. If I fail to comply, rule number 37 capital A, only this provision will come. Is one situation to note the relation of ITC. In second situation, for example, 20th February 2024, my liability output tax, for example, is rupees 20,000. At rupees 20,000, my liability is rupees 20,000. Then less my input tax credit, not only 18,000 plus some more credit also I have. in my books? 2 lakhs. Totally 3 lakh 2 lakh 18,000 I have. In that case, I utilized 20,000. Nil to pay by electronic cash. So still have excess credit carry forward how much? Not only 18,000 plus from 2 lakh 18,000 minus 20,000. How much comes? 1 lakh 98,000 correct? Correct or not? Quickly tell me fast. So in the given case, what is my utilization of input tax credit? 18,000 is there. 18,000 is there in my 1,98,000, which is carry forward credit, excess credit. Therefore, here ITC of rupees 18,000 not utilized. If like that, till the 30th November of the succeeding financial year, all the months, if I have excess credit more than 18,000 to carry forward, then there is no utilization of input tax credit. It is sufficient to pay my GST 18,000 to department, no interest liability. Interest liability will come into picture only when not wrongly availed, but also wrongly utilized. What do you mean by utilization? Means my input tax credit not there, therefore that entire credit have been eaten away. In that case, that is called as utilization of input tax credit. Sir, other way around, complication. In 1 month, they have credit of rupees 18,000 and liability rupees 5,000 adjusted. So in that month utilized how much? 5,000. Balance 13,000 is there. In subsequent month 13 utilized. Then in that case the input tax credit utilized in 1 month 5,000 and next month 13,000. The count reckoned from the due date till date of payment, respective due dates. 24% interest per annum. A detailed study I will explain to you under the chapter called interest. Interestingly, we explain to you. So for the time you come back, what is my point here is, in our given example, Ayat Niryat. Niryat wala supplied the goods to Ayat. Ayat wala received the goods. Where, for example, in the given example, Niryat wala not paid the GST till 30th September of the 2024. In that case, Ayat wala should reverse the credit by dash date. Quickly. By dash date. 30th November 2024. Excellent. If you not reverse the credit by 30th November 2024, what is the consequences to Ayat, namely recipient of the goods, who not reverse the credit, who violated the rule number 37 capital A? In that case, he has to make the payment of that particular tax, excess credit availed along with the interest at the rate of dash percentage, 24% per annum from the dash date. Utilization. What do you mean by utilization? I explained to you in nutshell.